can't pass an old man.
I didn't see him.
You gotta know where everybody is. Always.
What if I can't?
They'll crush your skull.
Jugger? I barely know her. This is Blood of Heroes Spoilers.
I love it. Sorry, I couldn't wait. It was so good.
Hi, everybody. This is your host, Stevie, recording from Elkhart, Indiana. And tonight is a very special episode because this is movie game episode, correct?
Oh, yeah.
So that's exciting. Anytime we do movie games, super, super exciting.
The winner gets attention from the league.
Yeah. It's
Oh, nice.
What does it mean? We don't know. But also, the only reason I haven't found this movie is because of my boss, Rhett. So let's give it up for Rhett, because I had no idea this movie even existed. He's a
Is
great...
Rhett going to be listening?
Rhett?
Do we need to, boss-proof this podcast?
No, he's fine.
Oh,
Is he a Patreon? I thought it was a movie game pick.
This is a movie game pick, but my boss knows I do a podcast, and he is also... It's very strange. He finds sports that I have no idea even existed. And, when you watch these sports...
On the Ocho?
I mean, if he is, if he's the editor of OSQ, it's spot on, because he finds these sports I have no idea that even exist. And Jugger was one of them, which led him to this movie, and that's why we're doing it. So I am excited. Tonight's opening question, and instead of going in any order, I'll just call it out by random, is if you could go back in time to when you were a wee child, and you had to focus on one sport, if you had the commitment, the mental commitment as well as the monetary commitment, what sport do you think you would have had the best chance to make the league? And let's start with Josh.
Hello, this is Josh from Goshen.
Leader of the JACs.
This is tough. Brett,
Yes.
got any ideas for me?
Let's see. I would say basketball, but you did play a lot of basketball, and you failed at that.
Didn't make the league.
Did not make the league, as it were.
You are a very good basketball player, though.
What about volleyball for Josh? You're super tall.
Josh would have been good at volleyball.
Yeah, it could have been good.
Super fucking tall.
I'll say this.
We know it's not baseball.
The sport I think I was best at growing up, I quit after freshman year because I felt like the upperclassmen and the coach weren't fair to me. And that was cross country. I was the best runner in the grade. I in junior high, 8th grade, I was the best runner in the school. It was good times.
You quit?
And anybody who got in your way, you just beat up.
Josh did beat up a guy on a course, but you quit?
I quit.
I decided to, quote, focus on basketball. Yeah. Did you run cross country? Dude, it is the hardest sport. Running sucks.
I watched Pap, and he always looked miserable.
I ran cross country.
Dude, Steve, the year that I ran it, when I was a freshman, the motto the team made for itself was, "Our sport is your sport's punishment."
I remember those shirts.
I was like, yes, it is, and I hate that we are that.
Welcome to hell.
I hated that. That was a huge part of my decision to quit. It's gotta be.
They also had shirts that said, "We bout it, if that dates that.
I never had that one, but...
Yeah, I think I was a freshman, so you were probably in 8th grade.
Anyway, Josh from Goshen, thanks for bearing with me there.
Are you going to volleyball or cross country?
Cross country.
Thing is, with your build, and if you worked out, you could maybe have been a good 400 runner.
Got a long stride.
I feel like Josh is all legs and minimal torso.
All right, let's move on to the next person.
Let's analyze Josh. Let's go with Brett.
Okay, let's see. So it's Brett, recording out of Fort Wayne. I have always been what I would consider quite a good athlete who's never really had the body to go along with it. But if I would have started early, I've always been good because I have really, really good reflexes. Even still, they're not quite as good as they used to be. I can tell you which one I would want to, and that would be golf, because that'd be the best to be a professional athlete in, but I don't think I would have been good enough. I probably would say tennis, just because reflexes, I was already pretty good at it, and I didn't put a ton of time in it. Other than that, I don't know, I was a good baseball. I mean, anything that had reflexes, catcher, goalie.
Okay.
But I'd probably go with tennis, I suppose.
Brett,
Yes.
do you think the normal Joe on the street has really any idea how good, like, the top 50, 100 golfers are?
No, it's crazy. Like, you take someone who's like a scratch golfer who to us would be like a god. Like Tony Romo's like a scratch golfer and he would go out and beat us by so many strokes. There's a reason why he's not on the tour. I mean,
He wants to
these
be.
guys are like way better than scratch golfers.
He wants to be.
Oh, yeah. And he's good.
Yeah.
But like Josh is saying, I mean, there's such a divide. Now, you're saying top 50, but like there's such a divide between like the top 250 and like scratch golfers. I mean, you go to your clubhouse, like Ben Oaks, and you see like their tour pro, and they're like amazing at golf.
Yeah.
But they're club pros because they're not good enough to be, and that's not a knock on them. It's a really hard sport.
I want to say they have to be like a 4 handicap to be a club pro.
Yeah, that's not me.
But how will they get the attention of the league?
Yeah,
The Live Tour.
I believe Alice Cooper at one point was either a 2 handicap or a 4
Golf's a lot in Michigan.
in Arizona. Yep. But I would say tennis, I guess. I don't know. I do have the height. I guess if I would have known I would have been built like this, maybe I would have played football and lifted weights and been an offensive lineman, but I hated offensive line, so.
Dude, you could have gone to Notre Dame as an offensive lineman.
110%.
Yeah, but there's a problem. I'm not any good.
Neither was Notre Dame at that point. You could have gotten in. Oh, Pappy.
Pappy, we know Pappy, wrestling.
For sure.
I was the worst wrestler.
He was
in the history
slippery.
of-
He was greasy.
I beat one kid, man.
Hard to pin.
Yeah. He was, and he didn't feel very good about it.
Pin him. Good question, Stevie. I am not good at sports where I had to think. So, like, being in a batter's box, I was freaking terrible at. Or, like, a pop fly that was hit to me. Like, the more I had to think, the worse I was. I was always pretty good at racket sports. And I feel like, given the resources, if I would have trained from an early age, there's a part of me that thinks I could have been an Olympian badminton player. I was fucking good at badminton. Like, I never played, like, in a fucking,
You had a lot of badminton sets.
we, like, spray painted our yard. Like,
Yeah,
I used
I
to work with
remember
my
that.
dad to, like, mow the grass of the badminton court with a lower setting on the blade. We'd have the, like, higher setting in the backyard. Like, I fucking love badminton. Like, I think it was just super fun. I, like, knew all the rules and stuff. I think I could have, like, really excelled at that, but instead I just ran, like Josh, cross country.
You were really good at cross country, though.
Yeah, like I said, if I don't have to think, if I don't have to get in my own head, right? Like, I would be so nervous, like, walking up to a batter's box. Like, we did a free throw shooting contest on Spoilers, and I think I went 0 for 6 or something on the Instagram feed.
I know what sport you'd be best at, Pappy. Let's say Mario Go-Kart was a real-life sport. You'd be best at being, like, the character on the back, like, throwing shit.
I would love
people.
to drop some bananas,
Oh, I love
throw
doing
some
that.
shells. Hell yeah.
Diabolical Pap. That's
What
why.
does that mean?
All right, this is your host, Stevie. Pappy probably knows this about me. Like, I think if I actually put, like, the time and effort to, like, getting, like, custom, like, fitted and, like, getting the right equipment for certain situations, I could probably be... I wouldn't say this. I would say this. If I got into it at an early age and stuck with it, not, like, casual like I am now, I probably could have been a pretty good bowler.
Yeah.
Ooh.
You always took it really seriously. Like, we would go to Rainbow Lanes, and you would just dominate bowling. You have the curve. You can actually do the curve.
I can throw a pretty mean hook, and I remember going with Mikey one time after work on a Saturday, and I bowled like a 240 with a house ball, just like on a random Saturday, and it felt awesome. And it was one of those points where it's like, man, I should join a league, and then it's like, you get a kid, and you have no time.
Unless you go on Shabbos.
Yeah, that's true, but like also, I really just do love bowling. It's a lot of fun, and,
Yeah, bowling's good.
and plus I'm learning how to two-hand bowl right now, which is a shit ton of fun, so I think at a certain age I'll eventually probably go into the leagues, but I couldn't do golf because I just don't have the mental wherewithal for it.
Yeah.
I would get in my own head on every shot,
Hey, what do you think is going to happen if you went up against Pete Weber?
Tell him to fuck off.
Yeah, but he would have gotten in your head. But then they'd be like, yeah, you're 5'3".
I mean, like, he would have, like, dominated me, but I would have gotten in his face afterwards just for good TV.
Sure, a lot of people did.
But can you imagine how nervous you would be if you had a perfect game going to the 10th frame? Like, I can't even imagine. Like, I would be shaking.
Wii bowling, I got 289.
I mean, my uncle has his 300 PBA ring because he threw a 300 in a PBA tournament. But, like, he talked about it one time where he was like, it was a league night, he never thrown a 300, and he was on his last strike, or going for his last strike. And one of his guys in the league, like, put, like, I think it was, like, popcorn butter in the ball when he wasn't looking, and it slipped out of his hand on the last shot.
Why?
Because he's being a dick.
Oh, dude, that's fighting. I'd fight somebody.
Yeah.
The thing about bowling is there's such a huge skill gap, right? Like, if you got with friends, like, there's that one guy like you, Steve, you can throw the hook, and I'm, like, basically bowling granny style. The hook makes all the difference in the world. You're a serious bowler.
What's the two-handed bowling? What are you
A lot of
talking
spin
about?
and stuff, right?
Alley cat strike.
My bowling balls don't have 3 fingers. I bowl with 2 fingers, and for extra support, I hold it with my left hand. And so, like, when I'm going out on my approach, I'm really low to the ground, and I'm kind of, like, cradling it, like, on my backswing.
Have you ever owned a wrist brace?
No, never will.
Wow, judgy.
So you get carpal tunnel.
You can ask Pap. I've been, like, rolling with 2 fingers since I was, like, 10.
Listen, if you want the attention of the league, you gotta get a wrist brace. That's all I'm saying.
2 fingers? Better make it 3. I ain't driving.
All right, you guys ready to get into this movie?
I mean, we could talk about real sports. I mean, we're talking about hypothetical us being playing sports instead of Jugger, but...
I kind of want to get into Jugger.
Real quick, I did a count, Pat.
Mm.
Rutger Hauer is his movie number 4, unless we did 2008's Magic Flute Diaries. Did we do that one?
Not yet.
Just 4 then. Alright, sorry, Stevie, go ahead. All you.
No. Honestly, like, I love those stats. I hope when we end this, if it ever does end, Jake Gyllenhaal is number 1 by the end. Is that everybody's hope?
Wait, end spoilers?
I mean, there is going to be no end to spoilers, but, like, eventually, you know, maybe the kids will take it over, maybe they won't.
I hope it's Anthony Daniels, personally.
Fuck off.
Well, eventually, Kurt Russell will die,
No, he won't.
and,
No, he won't.
How dare you, sir?
No, he won't. Brett, I'm telling you, I'll probably cry the day he dies. Like, he's never going to die. He's fine. He's in great health. He's fine. Okay, so, Pap, you and I always have a lot of fun talking about, you know, the movie's about this, but it's really about this. What kind of movie is this?
This is a movie about Jugger. There's
And nothing else.
I don't know if there's... Yeah, I was gonna say, I don't know if there's really anything else going on. I'll give a lot of credit to David Webb Peoples, Golden Globe winner.
My man.
Accomplished writer, wrote for Blade Runner, wrote for 12 Monkeys, wrote for a lot of great movies. Jugger is born of this movie, has no other connections. Like, there's not like a book, right? Like The Blood of Heroes that this is based on. This is totally from his brain. I'll give him a lot of credit because it sounds like Rhett, your boss, like found Jugger and then found this movie.
Yes.
Jugger has lived on.
Yes.
Beyond this movie. If you look up YouTube Jugger highlights or like Jugger explained, there's tons of videos of people still playing the sport.
Huge in Germany.
Welcome to this quick summary of the rules of Jugger. This is about the German variant in which almost all international rules are root. Goals, mounts or male are placed 2 meters from the baseline, and the ball, called skull or jug, is placed in the center. During the whole match, a drum sounds each 1.5 seconds. The 2 teams set up at their respective baselines and start charging to the center at the opening of the round. There they engage in duels, and the 5th player, the so-called quick or runner, is the only one who can take hold of the ball and score a point by placing it into the goal.
Well, what kind of dumbed-down version do they play? Because in this movie, we see people...
killing people?
I mean, you're getting hit with metal chains and getting whipped to like shredded skin. Like, it's terribly violent. What do they do to make it like dumbed down?
Have you ever seen people LARP?
It's very LARPy.
Okay.
I was thinking more like American Gladiators, right?
Like they got those big old Q-tip things.
Yeah.
Yeah, like big foam things. What are those called? Joust?
Yeah,
No.
it's like you got the foam, and I think like the chain, instead of like the chain and stuff like that, there's like
Wet noodles? Pool noodles?
I want to say it's like a net with a soccer ball in it that you swing around.
Huh.
One of my favorite YouTube videos was, this was like the Australian Jugger League. And this is like a little bit more violent than the other Jugger Leagues. And this guy was saying, you know, people have broken their fingers, they've gotten lacerations, they've lost their jobs, all playing the sport.
They've lost their
Jeez.
Jugger.
Jugger took their jobs.
Stevie, we have some people that listen to the pod that don't watch the movies.
They really should.
Can you actually describe the sport, like the rules of it? And
Yeah.
what the goal is?
It's like Quidditch.
Yes.
I think JK watched Jugger personally. No, I'm serious. It's too close not to be like, yeah, you probably watched a little bit of Jugger. But so Jugger is played in like an octagon type field in the deserts of Australia after the apocalypse. These people are wearing, how do I describe it? Mad Max padding with Mad Max weaponry and Mad Max looking people. And the idea is you're going to take a dog skull that starts off in the middle, and you're going to put it on a spike that are on the ends of each octagon. And the octagon's like 100 yards long and, I don't know, probably 50 yards wide. It's like a football field.
Is it not close to capture the flag?
It is.
In that way?
Yeah, it's kind of. It's a bunch of different things, yeah.
Like, the idea, though, is you have, like, people with, like, staffs, like hooks, like Rutger Hauer. And then you have, you know, people with a giant chain that can kill people, like Vincent D'Orfino, or however you say his last name. D'Onofrio, there we go.
I believe it's Vincent Philip D'Onofrio in this movie.
Okay, going with the
weird.
Vincent Phillip. I dig it.
Thin Vincent D'Onofrio. Looking good in this movie.
Yeah.
And then you have a Quick. And the Quick is the only person that can score with the skull.
QWIK.
Quickie Mart. Exactly.
Nestle's Quick.
And it seems like a Quick can only attack a Quick. I don't know. That part was kind of confusing to me, because why would you not just try to kill the Quick if they're the only one that can score?
Well, Rutger beat the one at the end.
Well, at one point, Vincent D'Onofrio just like drops his chain and pulls a Quick off of
I
Kiddo.
didn't think you could do that.
Our main Quick. I think only the Quick can touch the skull.
Yeah.
And no one knows how it came to be played with dog skulls.
Thanks. An important note. I think they can all touch the Quick, Stevie, but the idea is they're all kind of blocking each other. Like there's two guys with the hook Q-tips hooking each other.
Yeah.
And then the whip guys are always like facing each other down. So then the Quicks.
Yeah, I guess. It just...
I don't know.
Yeah, the rules were attack confusing, but that's what I liked about this movie, was it never explained shit. It was just kind of like infer, you know, gather some info and guess.
Mm-hmm.
And eventually you could like kind of root for it. That was kind of surprising with this movie.
Is this what people feel like with basketball when they watch Hoosiers? If they don't have a context for basketball, they're like, I don't know what the fuck that game was, but I get the emotion of it, you know?
I don't know. Like, I have the same problem with Quidditch, and like, not to derail, but it's like everyone has a very specialized job, but at the end of the day in this game, only one person actually matters.
Yeah.
Dog boy.
Be it the Seeker or the Quick. All that matters is like getting that dog's head on the spike. Like you said, Steve, you should be all out trying to kill this person.
Yeah, why would you not just try to kill the Quick?
No one carries dog boy.
I feel like you'd want your Quick to be like a tank. You know what I mean? Like, you wouldn't want some like nimble...
You gotta dodge the whackers and stuff.
Yeah, they're the burglar, Pap.
At least in 3 of the matches that we see, the opening like Quick off results in violence. You know what I mean? They're just punching each other right off of the bat.
Barry Sanders would have been the best
Dude.
Quick of all time. The GOAT.
Oh. Juggers' careers would have been ended left and right if that man was holding a dog skull.
They're like, did you get beaten by the other man down? No, just juked out real bad.
I was looking at his hips. They were too fast. Not to get too far ahead of ourselves, but like Josh, we talk about this every now and then. I always love it when you bring it up on the pod. Was there ever a moment in this film where you're like, I'm in good hands? There had to be one.
No, dude.
This movie kind of screams bad hands, Stevie.
It's the opposite of that.
It does kind of let you figure it out yourself, though. Give them that.
Okay, there is a moment where Kidda is kind of like following them, you know? And Dog Boy, who she's trying to replace, it's pretty clear he can't keep walking and keeping up with the gang.
He's gonna die.
And there's like this look that Rutger Hauer gives when he sees her coming over the hill, and like the editing at that moment too. I don't know, something about it actually felt good. So I don't know if that meant I was in good hands, Stevie.
Good finger, good hand. Yeah.
If they would have played Kate Nash's Run Up That Hill, would you have thought less of that scene, Josh?
Kate Bush.
Bish.
Run Up That Hill, it was like huge last year because it was in Stranger Things. Never mind. Edit point.
Yeah, I thought that was Kate Bush.
Cut that. That's what I said.
Yeah.
Did I say Kate Nash?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, Kate Bush.
Here's the problem. Is like, we're going to describe Jugger, and it's going to sound awesome. And we're going to describe a lot of like elements of this movie. It's going to sound awesome. This movie looks like shit.
Oh my god, that's so
I
dark.
couldn't see things.
Josh, how expensive is lighting? You're a lighting guy. How expensive is lighting?
Lighting is hard, especially back before LEDs were like invented. You got like can lights and all these watts out in the desert. Like
Pappy's
that's hard.
gonna bring up Barry Lyndon and be like, F you. Barry Lyndon uses candles.
This movie came out in 1989. They had been lighting movies for literally 100 years at this point. This is a real movie. This isn't like an Alexander Cooper movie.
This is decades past Lawrence of Arabia.
Pappy. Alex did not deserve that random left out of nowhere.
Sorry, stray.
Who's my sound guy? I hate that in movies where the loud scenes are like 100 and the quiet scenes are like 8. Why does it have to be like that?
So I think what you guys are trying to say is the production value and output that we get from this movie is very poor.
It doesn't have the intangibles.
We're one good cinematographer and like one good score away from this being like a legitimate classic. Like I sincerely mean that. But like it, even like the brightness is like it's so washed out in the desert. I don't know. It's tough.
One more note though before we get off this negative train is that Stevie, you tossed it to me to talk about hands.
Good ones.
I think my biggest problem though is that the sport is kind of treated with kid gloves, I feel like. I need to see like a severed limb or two.
Shit.
I feel like no one dies in it.
Well, I think that's kind of like the salute of heroes, or the blood of heroes, or the salute of the Jugger, if you will, which is like these people respect each other after going to battle for 100 stones times 3.
That's the best part of the movie, I think. The best scene in the movie is when the guy's like, you protected him, and he's like, I will kill anybody that I need to kill if it helps us win the game.
Yeah.
Outside
so
of that,
show him killing someone in the course of winning.
I wasn't saying that to disagree with what you're saying. I'm just saying I like that because he looks like a freaking freak from Mad Max or Swamp Thing, but he's got respect, as Stevie was saying.
Well, Brett, you know how burnt out I am on Game of Thrones still to this day. But like, think about if this was a sport in Game of Thrones.
Oh, there'd be so many dead bodies.
It would be awesome.
Yeah, that would have been a pretty good thing to like put into Game of Thrones for sure.
That's a really good idea.
On the note of like the respect of the athletes, like this is what this movie does really well. There's like 4 or 5 scenes where like I think after like the opening fight or the opening Jugger match in the dog town, they all like do this like weird handshake afterwards. You know what I mean? And they go to like a different town afterwards, and there's this big doofus looking dude. You think he's about to fight Rutger Hauer, but they just like laugh and hug.
Mm-hmm.
There's this whole culture of this post-apocalyptic world that's being explained without any direct exposition. which is like so good.
Mhm.
It's done so well. I love this world, actually.
I don't know why I got such an Ice Pirates vibe when they showed up to the Red City.
Oh, do you guys remember? You guys know what town that's called? The Red City. It's underground.
It's a real town in Australia or something, right?
Yeah, it's an underground like mining town in Australia. I think there's like a hotel built with like in like the mines, pretty much. Yeah, it's nuts.
So, Stevie, question: what happened here? Because again, there's not like a scene. There's like this weak ass
Culture wars.
opening text. You think the culture war, the Great Culture War?
Culture Wars brought it down, man.
But it's like it's a very diverse. It's almost like all the people of the corners of the globe came together in the desert and lived underground or something.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's called Coober Pedy, or Coober Pedy, I think it's called, how the Australians pronounce it. And I mean, another place where you couldn't see shit because they didn't have lighting, and they were just like, well, the sun's coming through here, so let's try and get this shot, and you still can't see anything. And there's aspect ratios just bouncing off left and right.
Cooper, I believe they pronounce that Kitty Pato
Kitty Pato?
in Australia. No, I'm just kidding. I don't think they call it that.
What if we're ripping on all these production elements and it's really just because we all watched it on Vudu?
Is that
possible?
I watched it on the Roku channel, man.
All right.
Did you guys pay for it?
No. Free 99.
Actually, I watched a third of it on Vudu, and then it said, this is no longer free. You have to rent it. And I was like, what? So I watched it on Plex.
There we go.
The thing is, this movie made $899,000. I don't know
Opening
if it
weekend?
ever looked good. No, total.
Oh,
But I'm sure the DVD and VHS sales were crazy.
$100 3 times.
Can we talk a little bit more about the culture, though, of this world? I feel like that's worth talking about. Like, they're very laissez-faire about sex, too.
two juggers can't do it, but yeah.
They, like, literally present themselves. And, like, even if you're, like, a mingo, like, scarred up and maybe not normally good looking, like, if you play Jugger, like, the woman person, not Kidda or whatever, she went over to the guys and they all stood up. They were like, basically like, pick me, pick me, pick me. So it's like you're right, like on laissez-faire with sex and stuff.
Kidda sleeps with Vincent D'Onofrio and later sleeps with Rutger Hauer, and there's like no jealousy. Like Rutger Hauer or Vincent D'Onofrio sees her in bed with Rutger Hauer and doesn't care at all. He's like, we gotta go to the league. You know what I mean? It's like,
And vice versa.
Mm-hmm. People just kind of sleep around.
That was refreshing, actually, Pappy. Not because of any like beliefs about relationships I hold, but just because I feel like you expected there to be some sort of masculine rivalry over her, but there's nothing like that. No trace.
Mm-hmm. Except for in the upper class. It's a big deal if you sleep with, what do they call them, elegant ladies?
Yeah. So Rutger Hauer pretty much slept with a Morton Joe's wife.
Yep.
Pulled a Harry Carey in St. Louis and just got out of town.
Listen, if he's getting in league with someone named Lord Vile, like, that's insane. Like, get out of there. Just don't mess around with his woman. That's weird. Bad choice.
So the way it like comes like across to me is Jugger players are celebrities, right? Even in like the dog towns. Like that's why that little kid keeps writing, "The Juggers are coming! The Juggers are coming!"
Jugger's coming! Jugger's coming! I saw him! Jugger's coming! They're coming! They're coming! Big guys!
There's no other entertainment.
You're supposed to think they're getting like rated at that point, right?
But we knew because we looked it up, I guess.
I didn't. I like when that little kid comes running through town. He's like, "The British are coming." I thought it was gonna be like they're coming to like take all our food and
Take
like,
our
burn
women.
huts.
Viking style,
Yeah.
right?
Raven Village.
Yep.
It's like a happy day.
Did anybody watch the non-US version?
No.
No, is there a non-US version?
Yeah, apparently the US version's 10 minutes shorter.
What did we miss?
How can it be shorter?
I know it. No, the one we watched, 90. You guys resolved 90 minutes, right?
Mine was 85, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the American one, and then the other one is 104 minutes, and they're both on the 2-disc Blu-ray. It doesn't really say. It's like, you know how, like, did the credits, like, start at a really weird point for you guys? Like, right in the middle of stuff that was finishing? I don't know.
Yeah.
That's the American version. He, like, looks at Kidda, and the credits come, and then they, like, keep... It doesn't do that in the other one.
There's no story. They just make the league.
Mm-hmm.
There's also... Do they all, though, or just Kidda?
I think Rutger Hauer's going to get a shot.
I think Vincent D'Onofrio, too.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Definitely, my boy,
Oh, Del Rey Lindo.
What's with his head?
He got chained.
Oh, okay.
Bunch of times.
Yeah.
But I kind of want to go back to Good Hands, though. There was one
Yes.
He's trying.
one part where I was, like, teetering on this movie. And then right when this happened, I was like, I'm in this for the long haul. I don't care how bad it gets. I'm in it. And it's such a small thing, but it almost... You have to remember, like, time periods. And, like, the stuff we get today is just... It's insane what we can do versus what they could do back then in 89, especially with film. And I love the idea of Kidda's second match where she's, like, circling the dog skull or the jugger ball. And it goes to this really high frame rate in slow motion. And it looks really clean. And then, the music's a little different. And then when it's bouncing back between the slow motion of Kidda and the rapid pace of everything going on around it, I like that. I thought that was actually really good direction and decent camera work.
Dude, my favorite thing in the matches are the cuts to Gandhi, or as they call him, Gandhi.
Oh, he's grinding those teeth, man.
He's always just punching his fists like, go, kill him. He's one of my favorite characters in the whole movie. He's hilarious.
So I think the part that I thought was the funniest, and I don't know if I laughed, but is when the first time Kidda plays and she's like, I'm going to break your leg.
I'm gonna hurt your leg. I'm gonna break your leg.
To the dog boy. I don't know why I found that funny. And she literally turns his ankle like 180 degrees.
She effectively killed that man, right?
Yes. Oh, yeah.
He's like Bones at this point in the apocalyptic desert, right?
Let's just see if his head is dog-shaped enough to be a jugger ball. My least favorite part is when he lapped and slurped the water out of Wrecker's hand.
Was Dogboy supposed to be a bigger character? I feel like it was just strange to have a character like that in it and have him gone in 10 minutes.
Yeah.
He really wouldn't have healed? Like, they established that you can have substitutions between the stone piles.
Nobody carries Dog Boy.
Yeah, I think Rutger Hauer just wanted him to die at that point, too. He's like, you know what, let's just... Yeah.
Which I don't think we've mentioned that. Like, I love the world building in this movie, though. The way they keep time is a dude just throws rocks at a tarp 100 times. And when he's done, that's the end of the period.
But if you score once, the game is over, right?
Right. I think they said 3, so it's periods. I believe it's 3.
I feel like there's something about the man that they picked to throw those stones to.
They look really bored.
I think they're supposed to be like simple.
Yeah, simple folk.
Like they don't really know what's going on or something.
I mean, like, the rock throwing is at their pace, though, right? Like, no time limit can ever be the same. It's just at a guy's pace.
Which, how long do you think it would take you to throw 100 rocks at a tarp like that?
300 seconds.
A rock a second?
No.
No, you'd have to be flying.
If it was you, you'd grab a handful and
That's
throw
true.
them.
That's what I would do.
But it's them. They throw one, bend
Bend down,
grab another
again.
one, throw it. It's a solid like 4, 5, 6 seconds between each throw.
There's a kind of like aptitude test in the dog villages, and whoever gets lowest becomes rock thrower for Jugger.
It would have been kind of a nice callback if Dogboy was a rock thrower, like at the very end final match.
Yeah, he would have been a good one.
Yeah, he would have. And that actually would have been kind of cool. Not gonna lie.
It's either that or Bones in a Desert, which I think also rings true, Stevie.
Well, let's... okay, first off, like I said, there's no story. It's literally just about Jugger.
Yeah, there's no story.
There's zero story. There's no story within the story or stories of triumphs. It's just literally about Jugger. And what confused me was, I thought, like, Kidda was all amped up. We gotta go to the Red City. We gotta go to the League. Rutger Hauer's like, no. And then eventually one day Rutger Hauer's like, we're going north. And they're going to the Red
really
City.
weird.
I didn't get it.
He's like, you're stupid. We're not going there. And he's like, yep, we're going to the Red City.
We're going there.
And I don't get Kidda either. Sometimes she's scared, and sometimes she's not. And I don't... There's one point where she's like trying out for the team, and Gandhi...
That's a polite word to call it.
Like Gandhi trips her, and Rutger Hauer says, you have to see everybody. And she's like, what if I can't? And it's like, no, dude, she should be confident at this point, right? Like, they let her on the team anyway. It's just very... There's no character arcs. No one really changes for any discernible reason. You know, they just got to get to the league. That's all they care about.
Please look at what I just sent to the thread. Dude, I cannot believe that.
I might buy that.
Describe it for the audience.
It's a t-shirt with Dog Boy's face and says, no one carries the Dog Boy.
I want this shirt so badly. Is that Redbubble?
Yeah, Redbubble.
Yeah, I'm probably going to buy this, not going to lie.
Nobody carries the Dog Boy.
Should we send you a link or?
Yeah, please do. That's amazing.
That's what's so insane. Is like, this movie isn't really that good, but like, for this not to be based on any kind of book,
yeah, really weird,
or anything else, and for Jugger to be as big as it is, that's crazy. Like, Jugger is a thing now.
Is it?
Yes.
Yeah, I was watching German highlights.
You guys keep saying that. I don't know if I believe it. What do you mean?
There's a Wikipedia page, man.
Dude, there's like different like chapters of Jugger and different rules. Like, there's a whole thing. And knowing that, I mean, I'm sure like the German people take it very seriously.
I would guess like the cumulative plays of Jugger videos on YouTube are more than the people who saw this in a theater.
Josh, they have world championships where people from 4 different continents come and play.
People have lost their jobs.
People have lost their jobs, Josh.
I can see why. It's an idiotic thing to do.
Oh, they use different weapons in different countries, it looks like.
Yeah.
That's cool.
But like, Josh, were you kind of bummed out that like this movie isn't really about like, you know, we never get that like the longest yard moment, which is like, if we win, the people of the Red City, everyone gets to like live like you. Or like if we lose, you know, we'll like become your slaves. There's never that moment where it's like Immort and Joe's living too high and large. They literally just win, and they're a part of like the society now.
Yeah, I guess. But isn't there maybe a little bit... It's not a romantic thing, but like Rutger Hauer with Kidda... He's like proud of her at the end, I think.
Walk.
And maybe that's like the point. That's
slowly.
Is that his like biggest emotion? Pride? Like he needed a protege to like pass the torch to or something?
Plus she licked his balls earlier than day, so he's pretty pumped.
And also Lord Vile was thwarted again.
But nothing happens to Lord Vile. There's no consequences. It's like Stevie said. Now they're the
bad people.
The jousters for the kings. The Red City has technology beyond what any of the people in like the dog villages can imagine. They have like welding technology and stuff and elevators that work. It's like the winners become integrated into this society.
I have a question about what was the troll guy's name? It was his friend.
Oh,
Gonzo.
Gonzo.
Yeah, he looks like Mr. Brown from Paddington.
I never seen Paddington. I've heard they're both good though.
Mr. Brown looks like him.
Mr. Brown. So are we to think that he had a steel plate put in his head and then the rest of his skull over that fell off? Is that what we're looking at when we look at him? I feel like I see a metal plate on his head.
Dude.
No? Nobody saw that?
No, I saw it.
Let me look.
I thought it was like a shell or something.
Who knows? It was so dark I couldn't tell.
Yeah, it looks like a metal plate.
I love that Gonzo like doesn't speak like a buffoon though. You know what I mean? Like he speaks in the way that the Lord Vile speaks, right? Like he can blend in to the society.
He seems like he's a part of high society.
Ah, Gonzo. A superior effort today. Thank you, my lord. And the stratagem on the 36th stone. Thank you, my lord. I just regret it went 36 stones. We should have done it in 20.
Was Mad Max the first movie, in spoilers, actual movie?
Yes.
So, this guy
The Road Warrior
was in the first spoilers episode ever done. Oh, you guys did the Road Warrior?
Yeah, we didn't do...
He's in that one, too.
Yep, he's in that one too. So he's in the first and last. Rest in peace, Gonzo. 2017.
First and latest.
Damn.
Not the last.
Oh, a lot of people are dead in this movie, guys.
Maybe this movie's just trying to subvert so much, because you think, like, Lord Vile would have done terrible things to Gonzo for not ending...
Right. I was waiting for that.
Rutger Hauer's career. Like, or his life, actually. Like, you'd think, like, you know, Lord Vile would have, like, really teed off on him.
Morton Joe would have.
And Morton Joe would have probably drowned him in water. Just being a sick asshole. But he just is, like, back out for the match. He's just good. And he's not executed after they lose. He's just, hey, guys, you're in the league.
That we know of.
Yeah, that's true.
I just feel like a better movie would have gotten to the Red City way faster. Like, Brett, you're the montage expert. Are you getting a lot from the montage of the Jugger matches where she's, like, going in the rain?
They could have cut that out. I thought that maybe did the rain one because I thought it looked cool, but yeah, maybe take 5 to 10 minutes out of... We've already seen him play Jugger a couple times. I know that they want us to see that she's getting better, but I don't think we needed all that.
So a lot of like the things that Stevie's pointing out, it's like freeing that there's no like romantic rivalry between the two main male characters. It's freeing that like they don't have to like have a social uprising for the movie to go forward. But the one I found weird is like there's no reason Kidda is like good at this. Like, did she have a role model in her life that she's like trying to? Is she the descendant of someone? Is she the chosen one? Like, I don't get her. It's very abrupt, and I think like the hero's journey, you would expect some other thread to come into play at some point.
Who is the hero?
Kidda, but she never fails. She loses the first match and then wins every other match we see her play in. Not ties. Wins.
But like our main team never loses a match, though. Like the team that we follow that Kidda eventually joins, they never lose a match, right?
How do we not see one match go 300 stones? That's insane. All of them ended at least the second 100 stones.
I think we only saw one match go 200 stones, Pat.
Which match?
The final one.
No, it ends at like 150 or something.
Okay.
Because it doesn't get to the third round.
Yeah, it was a big deal when they completed 100 stones. Because the whole town had to alert the town that they made 100 stones.
Pappy just sounded like the biggest idiot ever to big Jugger fans for asking such a stupid question.
Why?
You gotta be an idiot.
Why?
Don't mess with those Jugger people, man.
You never get to 300 stones. That's insane.
I could have sworn if I like halfway through this movie, or even like 3/4 of the way through this movie, I would have bet everything that the last match they end up in a tie. Like it feels like a tie would have been good enough. You know what I mean? But it doesn't. They win. They win every match.
It's like the Choke-a-Doke. Look it up.
See, that's where I thought we were going to get like a social uprising or, you know, pandemonium afterwards, kind of that Fury Road, if you will, when they take over the Citadel, which is like when Rutger Hauer, you know, that last match is actually very fun to watch.
Agree.
There's a lot of drama. And as much as like I've been shitting on this movie, the one thing that this movie does well, that every movie should do, but they don't, is all action movies, like all action in movies should be like a form of storytelling and not just mindless action. And I feel like the final match did that well. And that's why I thought we were going to get something when, you know, Kidda's about to win. Rutger Hauer, you know, I can't remember if he grabs her by the arm or not, and he's just like, walk slowly, which is to embarrass, you know, the league or the people in high society.
Is that why?
I think it was to embarrass them, yeah.
I was thinking it was more like to enjoy the moment.
It could be both. It could be all the above.
For sure.
If she was trying to get the attention of the league, she should have done one of those like cool slide moves
Ooh.
or something, you know? Those are cool.
As quick as possible.
They call that a slugger, slide jugger.
Ah.
She wasted 2 or 3 stones walking. They would have had a better score.
Can you imagine if it was like it hit 300 stones because she was walking?
Time!
If this movie would have done a sequel, it would have definitely been they're in the league and they all gather together to overthrow like the bourgeoisie, like all the rich people, and they take the city back. But, you know, it made less than $1 million on a estimated $10 million budget, so...
Oh my god, $10 million?
Yeah, I don't know where it went.
On what?
Rutger Hauer, probably.
Not lighting.
Not lighting,
Not lighting.
sound.
Hey.
Not lighting. All natural for this movie.
Maybe that's why the montage bothered me so much. When they're like performing in front of the crowd, you have those gladiator vibes. I'm actually really digging this movie. Like, I think that's like really fun. You know, when you have the people like stomping and chanting and all that stuff.
Mhm.
But like, I almost wish it would have been like a tournament in the Red City or something, right? And they get more and more famous.
Now they couldn't have added another 20 minutes. I mean, it's really short.
I think that's one of the strengths of this movie, though, is how short it is. No, I'm just saying, I think it's one of the strengths, that's all.
The sign of a good movie.
90 minutes is
It's
amazing.
a backhanded compliment.
I'm glad this movie wasn't any longer.
I mean, isn't that always a compliment for a movie we do on this pod, though, which is like, came in at a steely 96 minutes, perfect time.
Nice and tight. It's, yeah, it is. It is.
You want to talk about a zero-fat movie? There's zero fat on this movie.
I don't know,
No
man.
fat.
The scenes in the black when you can't see anything.
Oh my god, so dark.
I hate those. I'm so bored.
It's pretty blurry, dude.
Does Rutger Hauer get a little creepy, when he walks in, starts watching them try to do it?
I think he's trying to see if they can pull it off or not, because he's seen it a million times.
Yeah, I mean, he's interested, and I think he's drunk, too.
2 juggers can't fuck!
Looked like they were doing fine until he got on top.
Weird.
I have a question for you guys.
Edit point.
I feel like generations below us like really hate them. How do you guys feel about sex scenes in movies?
I mean, if it fits,
It sits.
It sits.
I'm for more nudity than less. I take it you don't like it? I mean, yeah, I wouldn't want to watch a family movie.
I mean, I think we all have those situations where we're watching a movie with family around and the sex scene comes up.
Yeah.
I think we all remember those days when we were younger, but like, I don't honestly mind them. Like Salma Hayek and Desperado all day.
Yeah. No, I don't mind them at all.
I just assumed, when you guys were talking about the darkness of the film, I just assumed you're frustrated because the sex scenes were...
And I couldn't see any nudity?
Yeah.
Big blue blanket, no lighting, and a lot of noises. Couldn't see shit. Very frustrating to watch.
The thing about the sex scene in this movie, though, is it is world building, right? Like I said, they have this total open sexual society in this class, and in the upper class it's very different. Like, at least it's for a purpose.
Is Kidda not worried about getting pregnant? It wouldn't be good for her sports career, I can't imagine, out here in the desert.
I was wondering about that.
If I'm being honest, watching this movie, I would assume that they have that figured out in some way, shape, or form.
Oh, she's barren.
You think?
I don't know.
I mean, we see kids in this movie. It's not like...
She's been hitting the uterus a few times.
That is true. That's a good point, Brett.
I feel like there's also probably some post-nuclear apocalypse, right? Which is why the one city that survived
It's underground.
was underground.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I missed the crawl at the beginning. I didn't see that at all. I read it on IMDb. I didn't see that they said that all the technology and whatever else was gone.
Can we address the obvious, too?
Yes?
In no professional sport are there women that compete on a level with men.
True.
Least of all sports that like involve brutal violence like this. Like,
Josh,
I
that's
think-
not very
I feel like-
2023.
Not at
I
all.
just feel like a girl playing any position besides a kicker, we're like really, really far away from that.
I'm with you,
And
bro.
let's just I'm just trying to be realistic about that. We should at least talk about that with this movie.
Isn't there a girl that's a high school pitcher that might go D1?
No.
If there was, I would love to see it, but that's like unheard of.
But that's what I'm saying. If Kidda's gonna be that person, then she has to be like, she can't be touched, right? And there's some opening scene where she's like catching some fucking cats or something. You know what I mean? Like, she's super quick. To Josh's point, that's why she's so like nimble. We get that backstory, but she brute forces people multiple times, and that's fucking ridiculous. Like, she's not going to outpunch a professional quick in the league. Not in the league.
Not in the league.
We have like 2 women on this team, and I forget the actress's name, but she's like a foot taller than Kidda, and she ends up almost dead.
Yeah, her name's like Big Sid or something like that.
Big Timber or Big Climber or something like that. I can't remember her name.
Big Simber. I feel like her superpower in this movie is she's like, I can take punches. So many, like...
Big punches.
Even from Gonzo. Isn't that what happens? Gonzo's just like... He's literally like beating her with a baton for all 100 stones. And she's like...
Grabbing his leg?
Yeah, she needs to be subbed out, but she just like won't let go of his leg no matter what, and he's just beating her ass. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's cool.
I want to. If that happens in this German sport, I'm gonna start watching Jugger.
It's nothing like that. It's LARPing with fucking pool noodles, and you get hit by one, you have to take a knee.
I'm sure there are people, non-sanctioned matches, who use stuff like that and get real nasty. Did anybody else find it? Obviously, it wasn't real clubs, but they seemed really fake to me sometimes.
Yeah.
And like they made like a whacking sound that was obviously like foam. I thought they could have done a better job at that. Because it looked real, but when they hit somebody, they didn't look... The reaction wasn't there, the sound was wrong.
Here's the issue, Brett. Is that it should never really come down to that with a movie like this. The fact that a movie like this doesn't have any semblance of like a, what's it called? Like a light motif, which is pretty much like a theme song for either a character like or a setting.
Yeah.
Is shocking to me.
The music
like,
sucks ass.
Like we don't even have music for the villain team, High Society, Rutger Hauer, nothing, or Kidda. Like, we need something. And we get... It should never have come to, like, any sound effects, Brett, with a movie like this.
Yeah.
Like, that could have been all replaced with a decent score for either characters or even, you know, the Red City or the villain team, something. And we get dog shit.
Where's Jerry Goldsmith at when you need him?
Doing Rudy.
Actually, he was doing Hoosiers at this time, probably.
Yeah, you're probably right.
God, those are both such amazing songs, Hoosiers and Rudy.
And the thing of it is, when we edit this too, like the fucking the Blood of Heroes, the Rise of the Jugger. I don't know why this movie has 2 names, but like you're not gonna find the soundtrack out there anywhere. And there's no reason it should be. It's so bad and so
by the numbers,
basic.
Where's Tangerine Dream?
Dude, that would have been amazing. A Thief soundtrack on this?
Legends, Tangerine Dream?
That would have been amazing. Like, go synth, go Blade Runner, go something.
It's a little late in the 80s for synth, but they probably could have still pulled it off.
I don't think there's time for music in this post-apocalyptic world, boys.
That's not true. They play like a tuba at one of the parties.
Okay.
I see. Well, I thought they were playing a Phil Collins song on the tuba. I really did.
Dude, well, how would you have felt, Stevie, about like a contemporary song in this movie? I feel like that would have been better.
Dude, if we would have gotten an actual theme song with the words Jugger in it, I would have been jacked.
The Rise of the Jugger!
I can feel it jugging in the air tonight.
Oh, Jug!
Yeah, that's all we need is like something.
Oh, Jug!
Jug.
Thanks for continuing that, Pappy. You're the man.
I mean, like, I understand it's costly to hire, you know, either a band or a composer, someone to do like original score songs, but that music is so important to films that we take for granted. It's not even funny. Like I was watching Jurassic Park with my daughter earlier, and you just like look for those things. And, you know, John Williams is obviously a genius, but it's like in every movie, those are essential. Like imagine Indiana Jones without his music. It's not the same.
Right.
And we just get by the number shit.
But that all happens during like the post-production process, And when they came back with the film, and you can't see a third of the movie, they're not going to spend another dime. You know, why would they invest in a soundtrack when you can't see huge chunks of the movie? Literally, you can't see what's happening.
I mean, even a movie like Bloodsport, which was sold in a Ramada Inn on a poster, got a decent theme song.
Yeah, it's got some jams. I mean,
it's got some jams in it, but also like even when he's beating Chong Li at the end, when he's blind, like you still get some decent music in there. It can't be that hard, Pap.
How could they not have had someone score a song literally called Salute of the Jugger that plays, like Stevie said, like the last minute of a game when everyone's getting kind of pumped up? I mean, it's pretty crazy that they didn't, but I don't know.
But that makes me think that this is so fertile for a reboot, readaptation.
Do you think?
Unlike Kidda.
Do you think
oh, definitely. It's way more popular now.
The fact that Jugger has a following with how
it's built in, you're right.
This movie is, like, that speaks volumes. And like we said, if you did it even like as like a 10-part series, you could explain a lot of the things that you, like, you know, Stevie, you mentioned, like maybe they get to high society and realize how fucked it is. You know what I mean? Or like the Vincent D'Onofrio character starts living it up, like treating the servants like shit. You know what I mean? Like gets high on the class status. Like, I don't know. I feel like there's so much more you could do.
I would love it if the TV series, the hypothetical TV series in our head, like if it started broaching huge topics like that, and then it like would back off it suddenly. Because I feel like that's almost what this movie does, and to be in the true spirit,
it is what it does.
To be in the true spirit of the Blood of Heroes, I don't know if you can fully go there, Pap.
Because like we don't get any blood of heroes. The blood of heroes are the people that to bring down high society. That is the blood of heroes. Like foregoing a life of like not leisure, but just like a better life to set others free. And they're in the same place they started. That's the blood of heroes.
Well, it's like Kidda achieves like the attention of the League, never thinks about her village, never thinks about her parents, you know, her mom who cared for her deeply. It's like, oh, now I'm rich.
Let's go.
Fuck them.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Okay, so at the end of episode 3 in this 10-episode season or whatever, Kidda makes it, okay? She like makes the League and she's part of high society. I say from episodes 4 to 10, she's just a background character in high society. Never says anything else. That's it.
I kind of like that.
And every episode has a full 300-stone Jugger match at some point.
Dude, you're insane for thinking that could happen.
Okay, how long would that really be? How fast can you throw the stones for real?
I'd say it would take 10 minutes to throw like they were throwing. And if Dog Boy was in there, 15 minutes probably. But standard thrower, 10 minutes, 3 rounds. Yeah, you're talking like 30-minute matches if they were like really super long.
People are dying. That's the case. Like, there's no way. You're right. It's never going 3 rounds.
A game to going 3 rounds is like someone breaking Wilt Chamberlain's record.
But wouldn't that have been cool? Like in the last
Did it really
match?
ever happen, though? Did Wilt really score 100?
That's a new thing. That's a new thing, Josh. The last like months, people have been debating it, whether it really happened.
What?
That's what you're talking about, right,
Months.
Stevie?
You're talking years, Brett.
There's no video of it.
There's no video of
also,
it. It's just him holding up a little white paper that says 100
in
on
the
it.
Red City, when a match went 60 stones, they got the whole city in there. You're telling me if Will had 75 points going in the fourth quarter, there's not going to be one person with a camera?
There's no Zapruder film of like him dunking on 5'10 plumbers? Nothing?
Dude, if there's no TikToks, it didn't happen.
If I've seen JFK's brains, like, I for damn sure should have seen, like, Wilt Chamberlain, like, dunking on somebody.
Stevie, choose one. What's more likely to have happened?
Stevie Wonder is
Wilt
not blind.
That is the question.
I do.
Damn you.
I'm sorry. Stevie Wonder, like, he may have been vision impaired, but he's not that feeling around blind. I'm just saying.
We all know it.
Yeah. Like, we've seen it. Like he's not blind.
He would throw 300 stones and not miss the gong once.
You're just nailing the bullseye of everyone.
That's amazing.
Picking up the stones without feeling around, too.
No one questions it.
By the way, I have the ending of the uncut European version. If you want me to read it, I don't know if it's good radio or not. You'll have
please.
Good radio.
Yes.
All right. It's long, but not that long. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we know where it stops, where he's looking. Here's the uncut version. Mbalu says to Salo that they want him to stay in order to make him a member of the league.
Salo's Rutger Hauer, by the way.
Yep, Salo, and then Mbalu is, what's his face? It continues with Gonzo asking Lord Vile what he intends to do with Salo. Lord Vile answers that he won't do anything because a jugger like him will play the rest of his life, or at least until he isn't able to see anything, so nothing can be done anymore. Lord Vile walks out of the picture and Gonzo spits out in disgust. After that, some shots of the subterranean city follow, and Kidda, who is now a member of the league, is shown fighting in a game. A scene change to the surface follows. Salo's new partner says that they probably won't come. Gandhi adds that they will come in any case because the good guys always come, and they are very good and dangerous. A group of juggers is shown from the distance walking towards Salo and the others. Salo says to his new guy that he must play hard immediately and that he will forget the fear while doing so. Some cuts to the other juggers and Salo follow. Then the picture fades and the end credits begin. So not as happy of an ending?
That's better.
It's better.
It's better.
Probably, yeah.
Just to for the audience who hasn't seen this, the ending of this movie, I don't know if we said it specifically, it's insane.
It's weird.
Credits roll during handshakes.
She doesn't put the skull on the spike right.
Yeah.
Did you see that? She fumbles it. What?
Yeah.
That is your hero shot. Get that shit right.
Or, recut that. Yeah, reshoot that. It's crazy.
But then the second she does it, on my version I was watching, the closed caption, credits start to show, and then, the credits literally start to roll while they're doing the handshake. It's bizarre.
I have the best ending for you guys.
Please, Stevie.
And if we make this movie, here's what we'll do. So I think it'd have been so fitting if, for some peculiar reason, Rutger Hauer and Kidda had to switch between slasher and quick. I think that'd have been a lot of fun. And if you had Lord Vile watching from a suite that was had glass in front of it, and before Rutger Hauer put the dog skull on the spike, he just gripped it as hard as he could and threw it at the glass and it shattered. That would have been a better ending than what we got.
Yeah. I think it would have been really cool if he would have thrown something sharp through the glass and impaled Lord Vile.
Yes, something. That would have been great. And also, it really pisses me off when a character says the name of the movie and
roll credits.
Not roll credits, but the title card doesn't come on immediately after that.
This is ridiculous. No one comes to these things. They're not contests at all.
Nevertheless, they can be quite brutal. Much more so than the league games.
I don't like brutality. I like heroics. I like the blood of heroes.
Blood of heroes.
Okay. Even if it's 78 minutes into the movie.
So the fuck what, Josh? That's the law. That's why I think it should be law. And so, when that woman, Lord Vile's booty is the blood of heroes, you could have got a guitar riff thrashing and big, red, stylized font with electricity going over it called the blood of heroes. That's the way to do it.
Dude, that is what's so weird, right? Is Kidda should have realized the league isn't all of that. That would have been what a normal movie does, right? She wants something, and then she realizes what she wanted wasn't actually it.
She liked it, though. She had to get out of the fields, bro.
I guess.
Also, in the uncut version, at the end, Rutger Hauer doesn't have anything over his eyes, so he's just got, a white, scarred eye.
He kept picking up that, shell or rock and looking at it. I thought he'd gonna stick that in his eye hole.
Mm-hmm.
But he never did.
Dude, I'm looking at a picture in the uncut version where she's got that in her hand. What is it? I don't even remember that. It's a little...
It's a shell he finds.
How does he not die on the battlefield propping up Kidda for victory? That's what I fully expected. Even with Gonzo having the virtue. I love it.
Oh.
But he's still... What, Pap?
No. It's like you said. Like, Kidda says earlier in the movie, like, what if I can't see? Right? Rutger Hauer loses his second eye in the match and then takes out the big dude while he's blind to save Kidda. And so she's able to score or something like that. You know what I mean? Like, he loses... Like, you see his second eye pop out.
Ooh, doesn't he have that move earlier in the movie where he, like, throws his fucking baton?
Yeah.
He could do that with no eyes. That'd be sick.
Chucks it and, like, knocks down the guy.
Yeah.
And Kidda walks slowly.
Stevie's not digging it. Never mind.
No, I don't mind it at all, honestly.
Anything was better than what they did.
This movie has good bones, though. That's what the most frustrating part is. There's so much cool stuff happening.
Dog bones.
All right, before we get into yes or no, you guys got any final thoughts?
I don't know if we've ever talked more about, I don't know, this. I feel like we talked about the story a lot in this one, but it's because there was very little...
There is no story, Brett.
Story.
Like, there is no story.
There is no spoon.
I have a Stevie question for final thoughts.
What is that?
Just talking about dog bones. When Rutger Hauer and the gang go to make the challenge, they give all these like high society types a bunch of dog skulls that they're like examining. Why are they examining these dog skulls? Like, what's going on here?
Great question.
So... The only thing I can think of is where the skulls came from. Like, I'm sure like those are marked in some way so they know. But like, also, something tells me that this is... I won't get into that, but...
What?
Something tells me there's a certain...
Get into it.
There's a certain breed of dog that kind of... like displays like your ferocity of team. And so I think there was a lot of those skulls versus like others.
You're saying if you have like a pit bull skull?
Mm-hmm. And I think there's a ritual to like the ball itself, which is like to attain it, to attain that skull. And if you beat that team, you take it. I don't think they just have like dog skulls laying around. I think it's a big deal if like a village like loses their skull.
So how did they get the skull in the first place? We spell this out for a dumb guy.
All the victories they have.
Yeah, so like when you, it's like if you win, you take that skull, like that's yours. But also, I think like for towns to like achieve like the skull they use for matches, I think it's almost ritualistic.
100%
They kill a
right.
dog in front of the whole village square to get the skull.
But it's one player versus that dog with no weapon. It's almost like ritualistic, and like they can.
Is it the quick?
I don't know, but it's that's how you could do it. And if like, you know, there's pit bulls running amok, and you know, a player will be like, "Hey, I'm like going to take on." It's almost like, to me also, if a player does that, like they're almost like a team captain. Like, I'm the one that provided us with this skull.
I feel like each village should have its own, maybe you're already saying this, but its breed of dog that, like, encapsulates that village.
Its level.
Like, the fast people are, like, the greyhounds. And, like you said, the pit bulls are, like, whatever. And then one group is, like, the
German Shepherds.
blue ticks because they're really smart or something.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I read a little something, again, it's just Wikipedia. I feel like Stevie's, I don't know, maybe overthinking. I think you're like right. This just says that each of the 9 cities have their own team of jugs, and they have fresh players all the time, and they have traveling dog town games, and the winner of those gets to keep the dog skull. So if you do ever want to challenge for the league, that is like some of your currency. Hey, look, we've beaten 6 teams. So I'm not saying that you're not right with the different things. It might have that. But
If I
think
made
it's
the
just
TV
like, hey,
show, this would be a ritualistic part of it. Whether people liked it or not, they'd be killing dogs. That's what would come into it.
Pappy, what do you think the dog has to do with this world building you've been talking about? You love the world building. What's the dog happening?
They say at the beginning, no one knows. or remembers how the dog skull came to be used.
We don't even see a live dog, do we? We
There's
just see
one.
dogs being cooked.
Very
There's
beginning,
one at the
there's
beginning.
dogs barking.
Yeah.
There are? Okay.
There's very few animals, right? Like they eat kimono dragons or something, right? They're like sliced open down the middle.
In Australia, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
A big one, too.
I would like to think the dogs are like valuable and well trained. And so they're not like killing them all the time, Stevie, for this ritual. It's like, hopefully they never have to do it, right?
More than
but
once.
only if they lose.
Yeah.
If they lose, then they like have to kill another dog.
Damn
and that's
it.
part of what's devastating about it. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, I mean, in my like world building brain, that's how like I would go about those. Just Jugger is like this. It's war in a sense where like these guys afterwards. I mean, they're shaking hands, they're hugging, they spill blood together. But I just like that idea of the most essential part of the game, which is the dog skull, is almost like a ritualistic ceremony for the town. I think it's a cool idea.
And props to this movie. Show, don't tell, right? If they make the TV show, just show the dog ceremony. You don't have to explain it.
Society needs a show that like hates animals. Like we don't get it. We're always so PC and woke about it. Animals are cool.
A24 begs to differ.
Watch The Lobster.
I just want to give one more shout out to Gandhi Maklanatri. I really love him in this movie, dude. I think he's so funny. I love at the end, after he does the fishhook maneuver, and they're winning and the credits are rolling, he gives like the Michael Jordan shrug to the guy who he had like fishhook and pin. He makes this movie a lot more watchable for me, just with the comedic timing.
Pappy, how did you just pronounce Gandhi's last name?
Correctly. Why, how would you pronounce it?
How did you say it?
Maklanatri?
Dude, it's McIntyre.
McIntyre. Oh.
No, it's an
Why you
I.
gotta shame him, Brett?
Come on, man.
Dude, I'm looking at IMDb. It's an I?
Yeah.
It's represented as a lowercase L in
He's
IMDb.
obviously Irish.
Okay. You're right. He also appeared in Babe, Pig in the Big City. It's one of his only other acting credits, so what a career for Gandhi.
He was fun.
He's still alive, born in 1939.
Legend.
He's married to Dorothy McIntyre. Dorothy McIntyre.
I'm telling you, it's an L. It's not an I.
I don't think so. It's not. It's an I. I am positive.
Seems pretty positive, Pap.
All right, let's go to yes or no's. And let's do it east to west.
This is Pappy. I have to give this a soft no. I mean, listen, I actually did enjoy watching this at times, but this is a real grown-up professional movie. And there's huge chunks of it where I can't hear what's happening, and there's huge chunks of it where I can't see what's happening. And there's no story. Like, the fact that Jugger has lived on beyond this movie, I think speaks to how cool of a concept, and like I said, the good bones of this movie are there. But I will never watch this again. Like, there's like a 0% chance. And like, I would be interested if there was like a reboot or something, but the parts where they're not playing Jugger, I really don't like. I'm super bored by like when they're having sex, or like when they're climbing up to that like loft thing, like that bunk bed thing, like way up in the red city that they sleep in. That shit is so boring, and I did not enjoy it at all. I like the idea of Jugger, but when a movie has two names and I'm still not sure which is the real name, that's a pretty telltale sign of quality. This is a very, very, very soft no. And honestly, it's either, like I said, either a good cinematographer or a good score away from being a yes. But I can't do it. Sorry, Stevie's boss.
Since Pappy did that, I will give it very, very soft yes. Brittany just groaned so loud. Hey, she only watched the last 60 minutes.
So the whole movie.
Get to see. She didn't even know Dog Boy.
Ah.
I don't really need to say much about it. I'm kind of with the Pappy. There's good bones, and it was short. I like Rutger Hauer. I like Vincent Philip D'Onofrio. It's very, very, very soft. A Viggo Mortensen soft. Yes.
A Viggo Mortensen soft.
No such thing.
I don't get it.
Doesn't he come out in the... Never mind.
Viggo would never be soft.
I mean, if Viggo soft is like a normal man, it's like
hard.
rock hard. Yeah.
Stevie, do you want to go before me, or do you want me to go?
I want you to go, Josh.
It's a tough one.
Josh is against Catholics and Juggers too.
No.
What?
Okay. This movie just really grew on me.
Oh my god.
And so I'll give it a Viggo Mortensen soft yes.
Yep. The softest.
Seeing Gandhi cheering and like counting down and then ultimately joining the game, that was so like endearing, but also more to like the point of this podcast, like all the things that aren't typical of a movie just seemed like more enjoyable. Like things don't come full circle, they don't bring down high society, and I also like how no helmet is the same. They're all these crappy homemade, how does that even protect your head sort of helmets.
They don't protect anything.
No, they don't protect much. And I think like what really took me from a no to a yes is really just imagining this as like just maybe like I would keep the story as blank slate as it is, but just add higher levels of violence. And I think you really have something, and some better cinematography. There's actually one point in this movie where you can see the flag. The flag are these like big things they use like tripods to like block out the sun, so the sun doesn't like hit the lens and make things unseeable. And the camera like moves, and you can just it's basically like a tent they put over the lens, but you can just see it clear as day. It's at like the 20-minute mark if you guys want to look. 20:48, I think.
Is that like the top of the screen, right? Is that that orange thing?
Yes. Do you see that 2021?
Oh, I saw it the first time.
When they pan, it like becomes even more clear that it's like part of it. But
this guy's not a director, though. Really,
Stevie soft.
He
Yes,
absolutely
I wasn't.
Literally is.
I wasn't bothered by the darkness as much as you guys. I wasn't like dying to see the sex scenes like you guys were. I'm not that thirsty, I guess.
Okay, this is Stevie. I'm gonna give this a kind of with Brett and Josh on this one. Just a Viggo soft yes. This is one of those rare movies that literally is not about anything other than the subject of which it covers. It's fascinating to watch. There is nothing else but Jugger. And, you know, like Pappy and Josh and Brett, we've all hit on, could use a decent cinematographer, could use a good score, could use some good lighting besides the Australian sun, could use a lot of things. But I do love 80s movies. And I do love 90s movies, and this is just, it almost feels like a 90s movie, almost. It's just kind of like a year or two away where just, you can almost get away with it. Yeah, so this is just what an interesting flipping movie. And it's cool to see that, like, a movie like this has had, like, a life beyond it for a while around the world. So Viggo soft yes, and I do hope they either remake it in a movie or a TV series. That'd be a lot of fun to watch. Pap, do you want to change your answer, or are you still good?
No, this is definitely a no. And that's the thing too, is like I think all of us saw like surviving the game gets like suggested with this. Surviving the game, that's a real movie.
Yeah.
If people did their jobs well on that movie,
That's a better movie.
There's so much wrong with this. I could not stand for this to be preserved. I'm more staunch. I'm a Vigo hard no now.
Do you think this movie could have used more cocaine on set? People seem kind of dry in this movie, I'm just going to say. Like, surviving the game, I felt like, what's the guy from Scrubs? What's his name?
John C. McGinley.
Did all the cocaine on that movie. And it really stood out, and I feel like there was none of that in this. All right, you guys ready for some trivia?
Yeah.
So this is the closest to. What's the order, Pap? I always put this on you, and I'm sorry.
Let me pull it up.
I know, I'm so sorry.
Josh, you on the snide?
I was the most recent host with Whiplash. Brett with another Rutger Hauer movie, Sin City. And Josh is on the schneid.
It's on the schneid. What was Josh's last movie?
Lord of War.
A while ago.
So long ago.
Josh, what do you want the order to be? Do you want to go last? Do you want to go first?
Ooh, I love when we do that.
If you get first, you're last, Josh.
Well, what game is it?
Closest to.
Oh, I'll be last.
Okay. Eventually, I mean, this honestly could have been not the culture wars that started this apocalyptic fallout, but eventually the kangaroos will rise in Australia. They already have. When they get out of their factions and rise as a collective, there's going to be big trouble. What is the difference between the populations of kangaroos and humans on the continent of Australia?
Ooh. The difference?
Mm-hmm. Mathematical difference.
6 million.
Pap says 6 millions.
Are we eliminating one here, or is this it?
What does that mean?
1 round.
It's 1 round?
No, this is it. This is close to.
Okay.
100 stones.
Wait, Pappy, is that... What are there more of? Humans or kangaroos? Or does it matter? Or does it matter?
You tell me, there's 6 more million humans or kangaroos?
You didn't say I had to say. I said 6 million.
You didn't finish the question. You just yelled out a number.
Value. The absolute
That's
value.
true. No, Pap's right. I phrased it badly. I phrased it poorly. Pap's right.
Damn.
I'll say 12,420,000.
Blaze it.
What? 12.42?
It's 420 today. 12,420,000. 12 million. 12 million. Relax. 12 million.
If it comes down to that.
So what was Pappy's guess?
6 million.
6 millions.
6 million, and Brett was at 12 million?
Mm-hmm.
I gotta let the audience members know. Pappy is smart, but Brett with trivia is like weirdly smart.
He's a savant with trivia.
I'm so bad at... I'm good at trivia that you have to know. Guessing stuff is hard.
Stevie is also on that same tier, although I'm not dealing with him tonight. You know what? I'm gonna go directly smack dab in the middle. 9,420,000.69.
It's a solid guess.
Okay, chaps. I mean, we may have to go over and defend these people at some point. There are 25 million humans on the continent of Australia.
Shit.
There are 50 million kangaroos on that godforsaken wasteland. With a difference of plus 25 million.
No.
Like, you don't have enough scary animals there?
There's too many, but kangaroos can box. When you have that many, it's a force. And tonight's winner is Brett. Let's go.
50 million kangaroos.
What if all the kangaroos joined forces?
That's what I just said.
It would be insane.
Let's go over there.
They started a Jugger team.
All right.
Brett, do you know?
Do I know what movie I'm picking?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Please be Ace Ventura 2.
All right. Do you want me to kick it to Spoilers Man first, or?
Toss it to Spoiler Man first.
All right. I'm curious to know what Brett's going to pick. Take it away, Spoilers Man.
Special thank you to our patrons. Matt Troll.
What do you know about the league, boy?
Brother Brian.
100 stones! 3 times!
Druid King.
Gar said we could play a team from the league.
Nick.
You think you can last 15 or 20 stones?
The Meg.
And went clear down the run to the wrong stick.
Nurse Stacy.
Should move a little faster. Wouldn't need all that sewing.
The Wolf.
Thank you, my lord. I just regret it went 36 stones. We should have done it in 20.
Barky 420.
I never heard a soul for any reason but to put a dog skull on a steak.
PK.
That's all? 26 stones? And you receive the attention of the league?
Spencer.
I got speed, I can run.
Gale.
He was in the league. He had everything.
Swole.
Or at least go 100 stones. 3 times. That would be just as good, 300 stones. A tie.
If you'd like to request an episode, hear your name read by Spoiler Man, or even just help us make podcasts, please check us out on patreon.com/spoilerspodcast.
And we're back. Brett, what are we spoiling next time on the movie game?
As I was telling the guys off camera, off screen, whatever, we're going to be going over a famously bombed movie of 1999, but a classic in my opinion, based on the Michael Crichton novel Eaters of the Dead. We are doing The 13th Warrior, starring Antonio Banderas.
That'll be a lot of fun.
Hey, who's seen it?
I have. Saw it in my grandpa's basement when I was really little.
If anyone would like us to get rid of trivia and just let me pick a couple movies for it, go ahead and write in to Spoilers Podcast.
Subscribe to our Patreon and just ask Josh. That's the way to do it.
Yeah, subscribe.
Subscribe to our Patreon and request Ace Ventura 2. Actually,
When nature
that's
calls.
my ask to you.
And eat some bumblebee tuna. Bumblebee tuna. Yak. I just randomly I just go guano.
Collect the whole set.
One person needs to just, because I'm never going to win trivia. You got to subscribe to the Patreon and request it.
Thank you for listening, and thank you, Boss Man Rhett, for suggesting this movie. It's actually a really fun watch.
Thanks, Rhett. Your name's almost cool.
And yeah, just a B short, exactly. And anytime we can watch new movies that, we've never seen, that's awesome. And yeah, that's it. That was Spoilers.
Our email is podcastspoilers@gmail.com. Our Instagram is podcastspoilers. It's lit. Josh Hensley from the Rutabaga wrote our theme song.
Yeah.
Okay, Brittany brought something to my attention last night or the night before. You've been to the Denver International Airport, correct?
Yeah, many a time.
Probably more than it, man.
What is with those murals?
I don't know. I really don't. They lean into it though.
And I get it, and I've read what they're about, but it's like the most freaky. It's like the pictures in Parks and Rec Town Hall. Like they're like really crazy, and that devil horse with the red eyes
driving in. Yeah. Well, that's what I don't know.
You know,
I thought
hear
the
about the
horse
guy
was
who
kind of
sculpted
cringe.
that?
No.
A piece fell and killed him while he was making it.
That's amazing.
The thing about those murals is I walked by those literally probably a dozen times. I never thought two things about them. until the conspiracy. Like, you don't stop and look at a mural when you're in an airport. You know what I mean?
Oh, I don't care about the
You're just trying to get to the food next to your gate, man.
I'm trying to establish eye
just
contact
look
with the
creepy.
gate and then find a place to drink.
Yep.
That's the move. I have to see my gate physically.
We waiting on anybody else, or are we good to go?
We're waiting on Josh to restart his computer.
Oh, he just said that after. Oh.
Yep. I do love that's like when you kind of like time it out perfectly in the airport where you get through security super quick and you have like an hour and a half, 2 hours before even boarding starts. You're like, all right, I can just plop right here, watch this, and start having some beers. It's a great feeling.
The Denver airport is not good because you have to take the fucking tram between the terminals. Like, the Minneapolis one's just as big, but you have the option to walk, at least.
The Miami, wait, Brittany, was it the Miami airport or Fort Lauderdale where we had to walk like a mile and a half to where you rented a car?
It's probably Fort Lauderdale.
We had to take a freaking taxi to get to the place where we got a car. It's so crazy.
I think Midway's like that. I hate Midway.
I love renting a car, though. That is one of the joys of life. I love it so much.
Pappy, are you one of those people that inspects it super hard?
I was like the first 2 times. Now it's like they could fuck me over. I'm not.
Yeah.
I don't know if that dent was there or not, I guess.
When we flew out to Lake Tahoe, me and Eric and Craig were like, all right, we're going over this thing hard, and we did, and there were so many dents and scratches.
Honestly, the way to do it would just be like take a video of it on your phone.
Mm-hmm.
You know. Was Josh back?
Yes. Can you hear me?
You're a little quiet.
Barely.
Give me a second. I'm trying to get my...
Speak up. This is Jugger.
Jugger.
There's like a huge Jugger open in Colorado every year. Like
I was
big
watching
tournament.
a couple of YouTube videos. Yeah.
Yeah. There's nothing around this area. I was looking.
Check.
Yes.
I don't want to play Jugger.
It's pretty LARPy. Not gonna lie. It looks a little LARPy.
Like
Am I heard?
Yeah.
Can you guys hear?
Yeah, you're not bad.
Yeah. I can hear you now.
This is pretty good, right? This is huge.
I think you sound solid.
Sound
solid, not great.
Better than ever.
Some would say.
Well, I'm not going to yell for the podcast. Check.
Will you please yell?
Medicine.
Unless it's the medicine thing, then I shall yell.
But really far away.
Is this a little louder?
Yeah.
You sound way better, actually.
Okay.
Also, I like how YouTube suggests watching Surviving the Game after the Blood of Heroes. That is
pretty on par.
That's a good call, YouTube.
Yeah.
So actually, it's on IMDb too. It says related movies.
Why is this related?
Because it's got Rutger Hauer in it, I guess.
Oh
yeah. Rutger Hauer.
And
is he still alive?
No, he died in 2019.
Just missed him.
He's a handsome fellow.
Rutger? Yeah.
He aged pretty well too.
That's what I'm saying.
He makes the hairline work for him, you know.
Yep.
He doesn't work against it.
He works with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
He
a good
dyes his hair with mascara. Or his eyebrows or whatever he was doing in that movie.
What year did Predator come out? Was that 88?
I think it's 87, but that could have been 88.
Yeah, because like one of like the VHS posters is pretty much the Dutch and Dylan like handshake.
Dude,
giant biceps.
How many movies of spoilers has he been in? I forgot he was in Sin City. Yeah.
Oh, 4, because he did Blade Runner.
Mm-hmm.
Was Rutger Hauer in was he the Pope in Sin City?
Yes.
Not the Pope, but Bishop.
Cardinal.
He's like
the Bishop.
Cardinal Rourke.
And then Powers Booth was the senator, right? Or was it the other way around?
I think Powers Booth was the senator. Like Tombstone's Powers Booth?
Yeah. Rest in peace. He died too.
What?
He died within the last like 2 or 3 years, maybe.
Honestly, I never hold on to celebrity deaths. Steve McNair is my worst offender. I forget every year.
He was shot, right?
by his mistress in the head while he was taking a nap on a lazy boy.
Murder suicide. That's a crazy one.
On the 4th of July, I think.
Somebody say. I'm gonna count.
Yeah, July 4th, 2009.
Brett, count.
Oh, I actually met Mickey Rutger Hauer, but yes, I will do a countdown if everyone is ready. Josh, you good?
I didn't know Stevie had a spoiler.
Oh,
I got one. Pap had one. He just gave it to me early.
Count it.
Yep. So I'm actually. Oh shit! Hold on. My Audacity crashed. Hold on.
You guys, should we switch from Skype
to what?
Zoom?
And literally anything else. Zoom.
Why do you hate Skype?
Zoom.
Pat, why do you hate Skype?
I like what's familiar, but it's whatever you guys want to do.
There's one
the end
flaw.
of an era.
There's one flaw of Skype is that it stops recording when someone else joins the call. That's the only problem I have with it, and that's ancient technology.
Is Skype like going away?
No, you can still do the clap emoji.
Cool.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Sold. I shall be called Lord Vile.
Interesting.
Hey everybody, welcome to Blood of Heroes, where the movie makes no sense and the sport doesn't either, but we're gonna play anyway.
The Juggers are here! The Juggers!
Okay. They're going to the league! What does it mean? Nothing!
Wait, did Brett count down? Did I miss the start?
No.
That sounded like a good spoiler, Steve.
No, this one's short and sweet, courtesy of Pap.
Unless I am forced
Test.
I have a fan going because it's very hot in our house.
That's fine.
You're probably good.
I don't hear you.
All right, I think I'm good. I don't know why this volume's down so much, but it sounded fine earlier, so I'm ready whenever y'all's is.
I mean, you're not like to record right next to his AC unit. I mean, I used to come out potting looking like Ace Ventura in the Rhino scene, just because I didn't want a fan to be heard or AC to be heard.
Yeah, I know. I'm not as cool
too soon.
100%, Josh. 100%.
Getting pretty hot in these rhinos.
Ready, Brett.
Ready! All right. 3, 2, 1. Jugger.
That was spoilers.